Welcome. I'd like to welcome you to ASSA ABLOY's virtual instructor-led training program, Justifying Intelligent Keys. I will be your virtual instructor today, and my name is Guy Robinson. If you have any questions, you can actually go to the Q&A tab and type in the question, and when I get to a stopping point, I will answer the question, or I may be able to answer it right away. Also, if you need to email me, if you think of something later, my email address is guy.robinson@assaabloy.com. That's GUI.ROBINSON@ASSAABLOY.com. So let's take a look at our class of justifying intelligent key systems and exactly what intelligent keys are and where do they fit in our security continuum. As you can see, the ASSA ABLOY security continuum starts with the lowest cost, lowest secure product, which is mechanical locks, and it moves up the scale in security and cost until it reaches networked, hardwired access control. At the lower point of the scale, mechanical locks, they run about 100. Top-notch cylinder and keys is about $150 list price. However, when you get on all the way up the security continuum to the most secure and most expensive products, they could cost $5,000 a door. So as you can see, the security continuum starts at the lowest and goes to the highest. Well, does that mean that if you need something more than cylinders and keys, your next option would be hardwired, instantaneous, networked access control for $5,000 a door list? No. What we're going to discuss is the options that you have in the middle. And when you need something other than just a little bit more security than mechanical locks, you need some type of audit trail. We want to show you why intelligent cylinders and keys is a cost-effective solution to giving you access control at an opening with very little inconvenience. Before we start, I'd like to discuss the pin tumbler cylinder. The pin tumbler cylinder has security challenges. The most secure a building or opening in a building will ever be is the day that the keys are first handed out. Then over the course of time, due to lost keys, unauthorized duplication, and lack of key control, the security system erodes over a short amount of time. It takes a little under 2 years. And the only way to gain security is to rekey the entire facility and hand out new keys. However, as you can see, that will start the process over, and this till the security erodes every few years. Now, when we're talking about intelligent cylinders and keys, we're talking about a key that will work an electronic cylinder, and all of the electronic information for the key to work that cylinder is in the head of the key. And we're talking about activation and expiration dates, reactivation dates. Also, the head of the key can hold 32 different schedules, which means it'll work some electronic locks, Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, 9 to 5. It can work others, Thursdays, 2 to 4, and others, 24/7. You can do that 32 different times. Also, if you're using proximity cards, all you have to do is supply your card number and facility code, and we can have the antenna put right in the head of the key. So now you do not need to carry two credentials with you. If you need to, the readers that you would wave your card in front of, now you just have to wave your key. Also, you will notice that the key has physical cuts in the key, in the blade. That means the key can also has a backwards compatibility. If you have mechanical cylinders, the key can work the mechanical cylinders as well as the electronic cylinders. Also, with the antenna built in the head of the key, now this one key can work as a credential for mechanical, electronic cylinders, and card readers. Multi-purpose. Now, the good thing, the reason why we put everything in the head of the key where you can't see it, the battery is located in the head of the key, because there are no wires run to the cylinders. The key actually charges the cylinder every time it's inserted. It powers the cylinder. I shouldn't have said charges, I should say it powers the cylinder. Now, why is this so important? Why are electronic keys so important? Well, security risks are changing at a very fast pace. As soon as we develop a type of security, someone comes out and learns how to defeat it. And pretty much the same pin tumbler cylinder you use today is virtually the same pin tumbler cylinder that Linus Yale patented in the mid-1800s. Not much difference. We have nuances, but not completely different. And the same security breaches exist: unauthorized key duplication, lost keys, lack of key control with any type of mechanical key. Now, the reason why we hide everything in the head of the key is because of this. In the past few years, before the past few years, if somebody wanted to get an unauthorized copy of your key, they either had to do it without you knowing it, or they had to, once you lent them the key for something, or they had to get the key from you. Now that's not the case. If you accidentally throw your keys on your desk, somebody can walk by with their phone, scan your key, and have most any key on your key ring sitting in front of them within a couple of days. Never before in history was it that easy to get a duplicate key. Now it is. Well, as you can already see with the electronic key systems, that's virtually impossible because there's no way to determine what's on the inside of the key, what's on the inside of the head of the key. Now, each key is capable of holding 1,000 audit events in using a FIFO basis, first in, first out. Meaning every time I put the key in a cylinder, because each key has a unique serial number. Each cylinder has a unique serial number. Every time I put the key in a cylinder, that leaves an audit trail in the head of the key, and it leaves an audit trail stating whether I was granted access or I was not granted access. Now we can audit that, and that head of the key will hold the first 1,000 audit events and only get rid of them on a FIFO basis. I should say the last 1,000 audit events. You also have visual and audio feedback indicators. The light lights red, green, or red and green at the same time, creating an amber plus a series of beeps come forth from the head of the key. Just to give you a quick view, we give certification classes in CLIQ and how to program them. However, if you notice, if my key is giving off 3 long beeps, the battery needs changing. If I get 1 short green beep when I put the key in the lock, it means it's granted access. I can go in. If I get 3 short red beeps, it means access is denied, and so forth. Other it has visual and audio feedbacks. There are different types of CLIQ keys, and you can tell the type of key by the color of the head on the key. Keys with a complete black head are your normal operating keys. This is the everyday keys you can use to go in and out the lock. Keys with a yellow head are used as the control key for removable core cylinders. CLIQ is only available in removable core, not interchangeable core, or what you would know as small format interchangeable core. The Bluetooth key. This is what puts CLIQ ahead of online access control, offline access control. This bridges the difference between offline and online, meaning I can pair that key with the Bluetooth on my phone and then access the cloud-based software with my phone and make the changes to the key that whoever the administrator or person in charge is made the changes at their computer. Now, every system is different. Every system is unique and comes with a unique serial number. When you order a system, it must come with at least one C key. The C key will not operate a cylinder. The C key transfers data from the cylinders to the computer and the computer to the cylinders. Also, the C key allows you to access the cloud-based software. Without the C key to that system in place, you're not even allowed to access the software. Now, the C key is authorization to access the system. As you can see, the controller, the programmer plugs into your computer, and the C key must go in the left-hand side. The C key has a password attached to it. You must enter the passcode in. Once you can access the software, now you can program keys and tell them which cylinders to work. You can also audit keys. You can do different things. If you need to tell the cylinder something, much like a key was lost and you need to blacklist that key in the cylinder, well, you obviously have to go tell that cylinder not to accept that lost key until that key would expire. Well, you would tell the C key to do that, take the C key, walk over to the cylinder, put it in, and it would transfer that information to the cylinder. I can also ask the C key to pull audit trails off the cylinder. I would walk up and put the C key into the cylinder and pull the audit trail off. Now, everything holds a certain amount of audit trails, cylinders, the keys. However, once that audit trail is uploaded to the cloud, that audit trail never goes away. Once I get it uploaded to the cloud, I can go back 7, 8, 9, 10 years and find out who put their key in a certain opening at a certain date at a certain time and whether they were granted access or not. Each key has 2,000 audit event transfers. It can do 1,500 individual tasks. Why is this important? It means that I can tell the C key to do different tasks at different cylinders. I just don't have to do one opening at a time. Before I get up from my computer, I can print out a to-do list of the type of the different openings I am supposed to walk up to with the C key to do either an audit trail or change information. Though the minimum C key you have to have per system is 1, you are allowed 200 C keys per system. And the reason why you would need extra C keys is this. You can section off openings and employees in certain areas, in certain buildings, on certain campuses. You can assign managers to when they access the software, they can only see certain employees, certain cylinders. You can make audit-only C keys where an individual is responsible for walking around once a month and getting audits. That's all the key is designed for, and so forth. So you can have up to 200 different C keys per system. They are all called sub C keys, but there's always going to be one top C key. It's kind of like Lord of the Rings. Many rings, but one ring to rule them all. The C key also gives off visual and audio messages. And as you can see here, one long green beep with a green light is task completed. If I put the key in the lock and I get 3 short red beeps, means there's an error, take it out and put it back in. Little communication error. All Medeco mortise, large format interchangeable core, and rim cylinders have distinguished markings. Since Medeco is a cylinder company with different technologies, the markings on the cylinder reveal the technology. On the cylinder in front of you, the M3 on the left-hand side of the cylinder means that, and the lightning bolt on the right-hand side means this is a CLIQ electronic cylinder. It's also distinguishable by the contact in the middle of the keyway. These markings let you know that these are CLIQ cylinders. Now, each cylinder has a user capacity can accept 1,000 keys, or if you choose to group the keys individually, or it can accept 1,000 groups containing 1,000 keys. Well, we know that's 1,000,000. It cannot accept 1,000,000. It can actually accept 65,535. The cylinders have an audit capability of 750 audit events. If someone left the door open, if something is missing out of a room, I can walk up and audit the cylinder and know who the last person was to go into that room, the date and time. The 5 foreign events means that on the off chance that somebody close would have the same keyway and the key would go in the cylinder, we set all systems are unique, meaning I cannot use my key in another person's system. I cannot program it to work another person's system. But if somebody is coming along and putting their key from their system into your cylinders, this will show up as a foreign audit event in which you should notify Medeco immediately. The Medeco M3 CLIQ remote programmers. Here you see an outdoor one and an indoor one. The remote programming is what sets intelligent key systems apart from other offline systems. Remote programming allows you to have keys expire. This allows you to make decisions with lost keys, meaning if I have a key that expires every week, every 2 weeks, every month, and somebody loses their key on 1 or 2 or 3 days before the key is set to expire, I can have information knowing how many cylinders I would have to walk up to blacklist that key. Because after 1, 2, or 3 days, it's not going to work any longer. The remote programming allows them to, once their key expires, to put their key in one of the remote programming locations, and the remote programming and the key will automatically be re-credentialed, or any changes that we have made at the computer will be applied to that key. Another thing that can be done is an audit trail can be uploaded from the key so you don't ever lose any information. Now, we have two types of handheld remote programming, and one is the remote, the handheld, or the Bluetooth key, meaning this is not physically tied to a building. I can be driving around with it. And the reason why this is a good idea is you got to think of an ATM machine. You don't carry all your money with you. Why? You could lose it, or B, somebody could steal it from you. Or like me, I could spend it all. Actually, so why would you carry all your access with you? Let me give you an example. Many years ago, there was a sheriff's office, and the guy in charge of security, all the maintenance people he was responsible for, they had many off-site facilities. And he was a wreck. He didn't want a master key because he just felt that if they were going out to those off-site facilities with the master key, they could lose it and he'd have to rekey all these off-site facilities. Well, his answer was, he loved this when he saw it because now the individual maintenance people, their keys did not work those off-site facilities. However, if they knew they were going to one, they could either just put the key in the remote programmer and connect to the cloud Bluetooth with the phone, or if they had Bluetooth keys, they could just re-credential their key for 20 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, however it was set by the administrator. And now that would allow them to open the door, go and do what they have to do. But when they left, the key would expire. And even if they lost their key, it wouldn't matter because the key would be expired already. It would not work the cylinders if found. So remote programming is what sets the CLIQ system apart from other types of offline access control. Now, the one thing about the Medeco CLIQ, it was a little inconvenient because I said this many times. Every system was unique. It meant that every system had to go straight through the factory, be programmed at the factory, and sent out. That takes time. Even in reality, if you just wanted 2 cylinders, that would take probably as much as time as if you wanted 100 cylinders, just because of the process. Well, Medeco came out with CLIQ-GO keys for small systems. And the way CLIQ-GO works is your locksmith or the locksmith who is a Medeco CLIQ dealer will take the request at the shop for as many cylinders and keys on a smaller scale as you need. The locksmith has keys that are not programmed and not assigned on their shelf. They program the cylinders and assign the cylinders and keys right at their shop. They walk to the job site, and since there's no wires run and it's just a replacement of and no new holes drilled, you do not need a lot of people on the job site. One person can do it, and it has very little touching, just the replacement of cylinders. And now you have access control on your opening. Now, that was a little bit overview of the CLIQ. I'm going to cover another type of electronic cylinder we have. But I want to stop for a second and see if there's any questions before I move on. Okay. Next, we're going to talk about Medeco XT. Medeco XT, unlike CLIQ, is a completely electronic system. The batteries are not replaceable. As in CLIQ, you pop the head off the key and replace the battery. They last about 2 years or 20,000 openings. Medeco XT keys, they're rechargeable. XT also, you notice, comes available in small format interchangeable core. Has many of the same features, being an electronic key system as CLIQ, except one major feature. CLIQ could have 32 schedules per key. Remember what that was, opening different cylinders at different times. Medeco XT only has one schedule per key. That means if you have the key set to work Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 9 to 5, then any cylinder you tell that key to work, it can only work it during that time. So let's get started and take a look at the Medeco XT keys. Like I said, they're electronic only. Like CLIQ, the key powers the cylinder. It's got a rechargeable battery, and they have to be fully recharged. They last about 1,800 openings. All access programming is done at the key. And unlike CLIQ, although it's good to have CLIQ expire after a certain amount of time, you don't have to. All Medeco XT keys must expire and be re-credentialed. They must come back and touch an access point within 365 days. Now, with the stainless steel housing, this makes the Medeco XT the strongest electronic key on the market. Medeco XT does not have audio feedback. It does have two color, red or green, or in the case when they both light up at the same time, below battery, amber color. And red still means you cannot come in. Green means you're granted access. Now, the Medeco XT key offerings, you notice, are slimline and industrial. There's a different range. Now, over the course of years, we've come out with some different types of keys. The main difference is the number of memory of cylinders and audit in the keys. When we initially came out with the Medeco XT, a key could work 16,000 cylinders could be programmed into a key. And it had a 10,000 memory audit trail. However, some people didn't need as many cylinders for it to work, but needed more memory. So we gave up a little bit of cylinders, but got more memory. As you can see, the Generation 3, both the Slim S and the Slim B, B stands for Bluetooth, have 14,000 cylinder memory and 14,000 audit memory. But just like CLIQ, it's available in Bluetooth. Now, when we're talking about different keys, you're not talking about multiple keys. During the programming, you can actually make the key anything you like it to be. An operator key, you can make it an audit key, you can make it an audit and operator key, a setup key, or a control key. That's done in the programming. And every time you program a key, you can tell that key what it's going to be. I'll give you an example of what each item is. The audit key. Like I said, it can retrieve up to 14,000 audit events from a cylinder on a FIFO basis. The audit key will not open the cylinders. And the number of audits pulled from the cylinders is defined in the schedule. Meaning, when I'm programming the key to be an audit key or to pull an audit trail, I assign how many audits I want the key to pull. If I have the key pull 50 audits, I'm only going to be there a couple of seconds. If I have the key pull 1,000 audits, I'm going to be there a while longer. So you have to determine how long you want somebody to be there. But remember, the audit key does not work the cylinder. It just pulls an audit trail from the cylinder to be brought back to the programmer attached to the computer. The setup key uploads a blacklist of keys into a cylinder. Why would I need to do that? Well, if I program the key to operate a cylinder and somebody lost that key, I don't have the key to tell it not to operate the cylinder. So I have to send a blacklist file of keys I don't want to operate that cylinder to the cylinder. So I tell the setup key, the blacklist keys, walk up to the cylinder and install that blacklist keys. If somebody finds the key before it expires and puts it in the cylinder, immediately the key will say, allow me to work, but all of a sudden it'll hit a blacklist file. The cylinder say, I can't allow you to work. There's a blacklist file. Now, you're only allowed 40 blacklist keys in a cylinder on a FIFO basis, and the setup key will not work the cylinder. We do have an operator key with an audit trail. Remember the operator key, you can have an operator key and it works normal. It just spins around and works the lock. However, we can have an operator key with an audit trail, which means every time we want to go in the lock, it's going to pull an audit trail from the cylinder. It may be a little inconvenient. It is offered. However, depending on how many audits you're pulling from that cylinder is going to determine how long you have to stand there before you're allowed to turn the key to open it. Now, since this was initially a small format interchangeable core solution, we needed a control key to remove the cores. Now, the control key can be used as an operating key, meaning theoretically, if I put the control key in and I turn it fast, I can spin that key all the way around. But it's not something I want to do, and I want to explain why. You should put a control key on a separate key only to be used to remove cylinders. Let me explain how it's done. I put the control key in the cylinder and the green LED will illuminate. I turn the key to about the 1 o'clock position and you will hear a click. That's the key telling the pin to drop down. I then turn the key back to 12 o'clock position and that will allow the pin to drop down into the hole on the control lug. I then turn the key back to the 1 o'clock position, and that, since the pin dropped into the control lug will be pulled in, and I will be able to pull the cylinder in and out of the housing. Now, this works quite well, and after a couple of times of practicing, it's very easy. However, the reason you don't want to use the control key as an operating key is if you bypass the hole on that locking lug too fast, the pin will wallow out the hole on the locking lug. And after a few times of wallowing out that hole, the pin won't be caught in the hole and you will not be able to get the cylinder out using the control key. You will have to drill it out. Now, you have, takes about 1.5 to 2 hours. It's completely discharged. If you just have to charge it, if it went completely dead, you just have to charge it to get in one cylinder. It takes about 5 minutes. But when I put the key in the charger, if it's flashing red, it means it's charging. If it's flashing green, it's charged. If I put the key in the lock and it gives me that amber flash, which is a red and green at the same time, it means the battery is low. You are given a lot of time to know you have to recharge the key. It just doesn't hit you. You will be given notice. There are key indicators. Remember, no audio indicators, but visual for permission granted, permission denied, low battery, communications error. And if you get nothing, it means your key is really dead and you must charge it. Now, the cylinders. The cylinders have a non-volatile memory. The only thing a cylinder holds is an audit events of which keys were put in it and a set of blacklist keys if blacklist keys need to be entered into it. There's no wiring, just like CLIQ. There's really no keyway because it's just contacts. All the components are stainless steel and it is available in different finishes. What is really excellent about Medeco XT is the formats. It can be virtually put in any type of cylinder where CLIQ, because of the nature of the CLIQ cylinders, cannot go into the smaller cylinders. You can have electronic key control at virtually any type of cylinder. We also offer dual Medeco XT with a key override. This is available on mortise and rim. It has a key override, mechanical key override. This is a takeoff. It was asked for us because in case the battery goes out or electronics go out, you want to be able to get in the cylinder. But if any locksmiths are here and you've been in the industry a long time, I remember many years ago during the 70s, we used to have hotels with cylinders that looked almost like this, except wasn't electronic, but you'd have pretty much a cylinder with two keyways in it. One was for the emergency key, one was for the room key. There's multiple options for charging your keys. As you can see, you can have the tablet that charges 10 keys at a time. In the lower left, that's individual car charger. You can plug that into your cigarette lighter. And on the right is the programmer that will also charge the key. That is what you connect. That is what you program the key with that connects to your computer. Keep in mind, we offer certification classes in CLIQ and Medeco XT that is technician oriented for you to come in, sit down and learn and become highly proficient with programming cylinders and keys. The programming is done at the computer. This plugs right into the computer. And there's a driver on the computer once you connect with the cloud-based software, and you can send information to and from the software to the key. XT, just like CLIQ, has remote programming, but it's even more important in XT because you don't have a choice whether the key has to expire or not. The key must expire within a year. However, it behooves you to have it expire a lot sooner than that so you can take down information, or if you got to make changes to individuals' keys, they can walk up, put the key in, press that PIN code, and receive the changes. Multi-campus situations, you could be at home if you're an administrator. Somebody calls you, I need to get into this person's office. You know they have authorization. Okay, give me 5 minutes. You can authorize them to go into the office for 20 minutes. They put their key in. The key is programmed for a short amount of time or any time that you want for them to go into the office. Remote programming, the same as CLIQ with handheld and Bluetooth. Exact same method. The Medeco XT SPC Cabinet secures, programs, charges, meaning works just like a key cabinet. The keys are locked in place. They're charging. Plus, if I have to make any changes, all I do is go on my computer, access the software, make the changes, and the changes are sent to the key. The person with the proper that is allowed to get their key with their PIN number, they put their PIN number in, they open the cabinet, and they can access their key. Comes in 32 or 64 key port configurations. Now, that's all fine and dandy. That's what it does. This is what that's what intelligent keys do. However, you still may be a little fuzzy on where would I use intelligent keys? Well, let's take a look at this. Let's just keep in mind. In America, intelligent keys are about $6 to $8 million a year industry, $10 million a year industry. In Europe, intelligent cylinders and keys are well over $60 million a year. Intelligent keys are here to stay. They're not going anywhere. Ever since I've been in the industry, even the old timers used to tell me we're about 20 years behind Europe with security. Why exactly that is? Maybe the threats are different. You know, I have some theories, but I'm not 100% sure. But this intelligent cylinders and keys are here to stay. In America, they're at our major airports. They're locking down major government facilities. They locked the president's bedroom at the White House. Intelligent keys are not going anywhere. And they're becoming more and more and more popular, just like access control. Now, there's some questions you may need to think before you recommend an intelligent key system. One, do they need backwards compatibility? Is there a convenience to having an intelligent key work mechanical cylinders? If so, Medeco, one of the Medeco technologies on the CLIQ side would be your answer. Are there small format interchangeable core housings at the facility? If it's a yes, then we got to go with the Medeco XT. Do they need multiple scheduling? Yes, I've got to go with CLIQ. No, I can go with XT. So these are some questions that you may want to answer. Now, another thing, putting this up in a little bit larger security continuum where you have data on card, wireless, online access control. The Medeco CLIQ falls right in offline plus. However, data on card, wireless, offline, we're starting to get into $2,000 plus an opening. When you are at $2,000 plus an opening, everyone has key backup on their opening, mechanical key backup in case the access control goes down. However, if you're paying over $2,000 to secure an opening and you have mechanical key backup on it, if somebody uses the mechanical key in that opening, you have no idea who went in and no idea what time they went in. That defeats your whole purpose. So, one of the things you can do with intelligent key systems is you can use it to back up access control systems. You can use it to back up offline and data on card systems. you can put it right in and replace the mechanical cylinders with intelligent key cylinders. Now you've spent a lot of money on a door. All you have to do is spend a little bit more and you've got a completely secure opening. Because if the system does go out, if the keypad doesn't work on either one of them and someone does have to use their key as a backup, you now have an audit trail of who walked in there. For the wireless, whether it's Apereo or Wi-Fi, which is a couple of $1,000s a door, you can now, instead of backing these systems up with mechanical key systems, you can back them up with intelligent key systems. Online, now we're start talking about the big money, whether it's hardwired or PoE, we're at $5,000 an opening. And all we want to do is a mechanical cylinder to back it up? Absolutely not. We want to put intelligent key systems in it to make sure that everything has an audit trail and the openings as secure as it can be. Next, airports. I'm from Louisiana, from New Orleans. Louisiana has many natural gas and chemical and oil plants that go for miles, perimeter fencing for miles. To put access control on perimeter fencing is very expensive. However, now you can put intelligent keys in the padlocks, put it on the gates, you have instant audit trail at all the openings. Most of the major airports in the country have gone to intelligent key systems, specifically to guard their perimeter gates. Another thing, critical infrastructure protection standards. In 2014, FERC ordered the imposition of mandatory physical security standards for substations and directed the North American Electric Reliability Corporation, which is called NERC, to submit proposed reliability standards. Those standards would require utilities with critical assets to take steps or to demonstrate that they had taken steps to address physical security risks and vulnerabilities. So let's take a look and see what it states. You implement a minimum of one physical access control system, although 2 or more control measures are recommended. Quite easy with intelligent cylinders and keys. You don't have to run any wire to them. Monitor unauthorized access through all physical access points. Keep physical access logs capturing date and time of individuals' access for a minimum of 90 days. Remember, if we just take an audit trail, it lasts more than 90 days because once it hits the cloud, it's always there. So there are many different places that traditional electric strike, card reader, maglite, it doesn't make sense. Intelligent cylinders and keys fill that gap where other items don't make sense or they're hard to implement. Retail applications, credit card receipts, inventory rooms. You have to prove who's had access. It's quite easy. When every time somebody puts a key in the door, it leaves an audit trail for a whole lot less than card reader and controllers. Hospitals, drug rooms, drug cabinets, schools, universities. Right here, you see the Milton Hershey School. One of our earliest customers, because of the type of school it is, keys would go missing and they had to make sure openings were secure. So they would have to rekey their facility. Master keys would go missing. They would have to rekey the whole facility. Well, once they went with CLIQ, even if a CLIQ key goes missing, it's seconds to delete keys and just add keys to openings other than take them out and rekeying them. So as you can see, the intelligent cylinders and keys is very versatile in solving the security needs of many types of facilities. Well, that's the end of today's program. I thank you. I know your time is important, and I thank you for signing on and spending this 45 minutes with me. I'm going to be on for another couple of minutes. If you have any questions, please type it in the Q&A section, or you can always send an email to me at guy.robinson@asaabloy.com,